Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a yin yoga practice to awaken the senses. So if you're suffering from any anxiety, then one of the best tools we have available to us is the body, and getting into our senses can really help us be present and relieve that sense of anxiety that might be there. So that's what we're going to do today, and it's very bright out here, so I might be squinting a little bit at you, so sorry about that, but it's a beautiful day and a wonderful place to awaken my senses here. So wherever you are, come and start in a seated position. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the shoulders above the hips and just reach tall through the crown of the head. Now normally I would say either with the eyes open or closed, but today we're going to keep the eyes open and just gaze beyond the tip of the nose. And wherever you are, see if you can name 5 things that you can see. And it can be anything, your own hands, your yoga mat, but just connecting with that sense of sight. And then becoming aware of the sense of sound, noticing what you can hear far away in the distance. And perhaps naming 4 things that you can hear. And now connecting to the sense of touch and naming 3 things that you can feel. It could be the ground beneath you, your hands resting on your thighs or your knees, clothing against the skin, or the air brushing against your hair. And then bringing your awareness to the sense of smell. Notice 2 things that you can smell. And finally, bringing your awareness to the sense of taste and noticing 1 taste. Maybe you can name it, maybe you can't. That's okay. And then bringing the awareness back to the nose and the mouth and just sensing the breath as it comes in and goes back out again. And you can breathe here whichever way is more comfortable for you. If that's breathing through the mouth, that's absolutely fine. When we breathe through our nose, it does generate a calmer effect in the body, in the nervous system. So if it's comfortable, then breathing through the nose. But the main aim of this practice is to relax the body, relax the nervous system, be present. And just taking a couple more breaths here. Noticing any changes within the body, within the mind. And this little technique, our 5 senses technique of noticing, you can use that wherever you are, any time of day, just to bring yourself back to the present moment and back into the body, which is really what we're doing today. So trying to get out of the mind and into the body. So taking a big breath in here, fill all the way up. And as you exhale, make it audible through the mouth. One more time, big breath in. Bring a smile to the lips and let it go. Nice. Okay, so we are going to get into the body and we're going to start with toes pose. So we'll work through all of the major muscle groups today. So this will be a full body practice suitable for absolutely everybody. Probably should have said that at the start. Okay, so tucking the toes under, spread them nice and wide so that you can feel they're in contact with the floor, so even the little toe. And we're going to hold all our poses for about 2 minutes. We're not here too long today. And if you want a bonus stretch here, we're going to take the fingers, so the palms of the hand towards each other, and then the fingers towards each other, and keep on going until the back of the hands, so the top of the hands, come onto the ribs here. So we're getting a stretch through the top of the arm and the wrist. And this is very gentle. There's a lot going on in the wrists and the hands. So very gentle stretch here, making sure we're not sticking the lower ribs out, keeping the shoulders above the hips. And if this feels a little bit intense in the toes, you can always lift the hips off the heels. And we're only here for about another minute. So just connecting with all these feelings, all the sensations in the physical body. Maybe they're quite intense sensations through the feet and the toes. But just using the breath to calm the mind. Just relaxing the jaw, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And then coming into our last big breath here. So inhale, just like before, through the nose, fill all the way up. And exhale, sigh it out. Releasing the hands first. Noticing any sensations as you do that. And then just gently coming forwards, not placing too much weight into the hands here, but just enough so that we can lift the hips and release the feet. Maybe tapping the feet gently on your mat, or you can just sit back on the tops of the feet here. Good, yeah? Okay, so from here we're going to move up the chain. So we're going to come into our yogi squat, our malasana. So I'm on a bit of a hill here, so I'm going to stay facing sideways, but you're going to bring your feet about hip distance apart. I'll show you from here, so that your toes are facing out at a little angle. And like I say, I'm going to face this way so I don't roll down the hill. And then just squatting down, letting the thighs roll out away from the center of the body, and the hips come down towards the heels. Now, if your hips don't sink down with the heels on the ground, then just leaning slightly forward and allowing the heels to lift. So in our yin practice, we want as little effort as possible. So we really want to allow our muscles to relax so that we can get into the connective tissues, the joints, the fascia, all that good stuff. So if the heels are down, or if you've got something underneath the heels to support you here, so you could roll up your yoga mat even, then again, we can take a wrist stretch here by bringing the palms together this time, reaching tall through the crown of the head, and just placing the elbows on the inside of the knees gently. So again, as little effort as possible, even though this is probably one of our most active yin poses. So relaxing the forehead, the muscles through the face and the jaw. Keeping the eyes open. Being fully present here. Awakening all the senses. And again, maybe just going through that little routine of what can you hear? What can you feel? What can you taste? And what can you smell? And then taking our last big breath here, filling all the way up, big inhale. And exhale, sigh out. And again, release the hands, bring the fingertips down to the ground. And we're going to come straight into our next pose from here. And this is our only standing posture in yin yoga. So bring the fingertips down to the floor and then allow the head to come down as you just gently lift the hips. And you'll probably want to square the feet off here so the outside edge of the feet are parallel with the edge of your yoga mat. and about hip distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. Keep a generous bend in the knees here and just allow the head to be heavy, allow the spine to be long. And we want to feel the stretch evenly through the back of the legs, through the glutes and all the way down the spine. So we really are targeting the whole body today. And you can keep your hands on the floor like I am. If you've got a block or cushion or even a chair here to put your hands on, that all works too. Or you could hold onto opposite elbows and you'll feel most likely an extra little stretch through the sides of the upper body. That's where I feel it anyway, but we're all different, as we know. And just checking where the weight is and the feet, making sure you're not sinking back into the heels. So keeping that weight equal between the forefoot and the heel. And again, keeping the eyes open. I know I have a tendency to close my eyes and go inside, which is great. But for this particular practice, we just want to feel alive. We want to be completely present. And by keeping the eyes softly open, it helps us to do that. And then when you're ready, take that big breath in. Allow the belly to be soft as you inhale. And then sigh it out. Release the elbows if you're holding them. Lovely. So bringing the hands down to the mat, lowering the knees down. And then from here, we're just going to come into a child's pose. So just walking the feet towards the back of the mat, bringing the toes together. And the knees can come out as wide as your yoga mat, maybe not quite that wide, just wherever feels good for you. And sink the hips back to the heels first, and then walk the fingertips forward, find a little bit of length. And if you feel like the ground is a long way away here, pop a cushion, a block, some pillows underneath the head so that you can rest down here. You could even stack the fists one on top of the other and just rest the head here. If you've got a little bit more space available, walking the hands out and resting the forehead down. And again, we're here for just about 2 minutes. So as well as stretching through the glutes, the back side of the body, the chest, the shoulders, we're also grounding in this pose. And it's one of the best poses for feeling safe, feeling secure. And just coming into our last few breaths here, noticing any changes in the body, in the mind. And if any thoughts appear that aren't helpful, just acknowledging them and allowing them to pass by. And then taking our last big breath in here, fill all the way up. And exhale, sigh out. So from here, we're just going to lift the head and shoulders off the mat and lift the hips off the heels. Now we're going to start to walk the knees back in line with the hips first of all, so our feet and knees are in line with the hips, and then take the hands forward, setting up for a heart melting pose. I'm on a little bit of uneven ground here, but the hands are a little bit wider than the shoulders, and the hips stay above the knees this time, so we're not sending the hips back like we do in child's pose. So we're just targeting the front of the shoulders and the chest a little bit more in this pose here. And this is somewhere where we can hold a lot of tension if we are feeling a bit stressed and anxious. And again, you might want to put your head on a block or a pillow here if it doesn't reach the ground. That's absolutely fine. And another name for this pose is heart melting pose. So thinking about that visualization of allowing the heart to melt down. And in our yin practice, we're holding these poses in stillness, never pushing our bodies further than they can comfortably hold the pose. But you might find after a minute or so of being in one position that your body starts to open up, and maybe you can just gently go a little bit deeper. But we never want any pain, we never want our muscles to be tensing up. Just allowing everything to be soft. And on your next breath in, fill all the way up, big inhale. And exhale, sigh out. So to come out of our puppy pose, we're just going to bring the elbows and the hands in line with the shoulders and just kind of slither our way forwards onto the belly. So the hips come down, belly comes down, and the chest reaches forwards. So our forearms are on the ground. Again, I'm on a slight uneven ground here. But your forearms are on the ground with your elbows either underneath the shoulders or a little bit further forwards. So for a deeper back bend, you'll bring the elbows closer into the body. And for a less intense stretch, take them further away. So there should be no pain in the low back here. We can press the hips down into the floor, broaden through the collarbones, and again, let the heart melt forwards. Feel that softening around the shoulders, through the chest. And gazing down gently, keeping the neck in a nice straight line, or in line with the spine. We don't have many straight lines in our bodies. So just here in our Sphinx pose for a few more breaths. If this becomes a little bit too intense, then feel free to stack the palms one on top of the other, take the elbows out wide and just rest down in our crocodile pose with your forehead on the palms, on the backs of the hands. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in. Feel the belly rise. And exhale, sigh out. And if you're not there already, stack the hands one on top of the other and then rest the forehead down. Just allow that low back to settle. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, press your way up and just come to all fours position here. And then spreading the fingers wide, we're just going to take a few cat-cows. We've worked quite a lot with the spine today, so hopefully this should feel really good. So we're going to let the belly come down, chest come forwards as we inhale into cow. And then exhale, draw the belly button in, press the ground away. Keep this movement quite small. And then just move in between these two positions. So we're inhaling as the belly comes down, chest comes forwards. Exhaling as we draw the belly button in, press the ground away, separating the shoulder blades, looking back at the thighs. And just moving with your own breath, 2 or 3 more of these. And then next time you come to neutral, just sitting back on the heels and bring the heels out to one side of the body so you can bring the legs around in front of you and make your way down onto your back. And just pause here for a moment, holding onto the right knee again with the right hand and bring the left knee into the left hand. Just have a loose grip here. You can just rock gently side to side, noticing the difference from one side to the other. Or you can make some little circles, just whatever feels good here. Maybe even taking a happy baby pose, bringing the feet up towards the sky, either both together or one at a time. Anything else that is calling to you before we come into our relaxation, our Shavasana. So sending the legs out long, one at a time on the mat. Bring the shoulder blades underneath you. So we're allowing the energy to flow through the whole body, the whole spine, whilst we're in this relaxation pose. And for our last time here today, take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. Just taking a few moments in silence here. Not concentrating on the senses, but just allowing them to be open. Allowing sounds and sights and smells and tastes and sensations of touch to come to you. Just gently acknowledging what's there without clinging to anything, in the same way as we would do with our thoughts. And then bring in the attention to the breath, the place in the body where you feel it. Noticing the quality of the breath, the ease. And remembering that we can use the breath to find the same sense of alert relaxation within us whenever we need it, both on and off the mat. So finding any little movements in the body, starting to reawaken the physical body. And if the eyes happen to have closed, then blinking them open here. And taking in all these sights around you. Senses fully awake as we bring the knees in one at a time so the feet come just below the hips and we can roll onto the side. Pause in here. Taking this moment to thank yourself for looking after your body, your mind, your well-being. And then slowly coming on up to a seat. And sitting in any way that's comfortable for you, stacking the shoulders back above the hips where we began doing the hair. Roll the shoulders back. Take a big breath in. And an audible sigh out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, everybody. If you've enjoyed this practice and you're watching on YouTube, then please go ahead and like. And if you haven't already, also subscribe. It's down there somewhere. And you can also head over to Happy Yoga Wales, where you'll find a whole load of other videos, meditations, yin yoga, slow flows. They are all part of the Patreon membership. You get in touch with me on social media at Happy Yoga Wales. I'm on all of them, and I look forward to speaking to you, meeting you soon.